In the vast tapestry of human civilization, few nations stand at the cusp of transformation quite like India, a land where ancient wisdom meets futuristic ambition, where tradition breathes alongside technology, and where a billion voices converge into a singular force of destiny. Today, we journey into the horizon of tomorrow, exploring the 5 great powers that will shape India's future, powers that will not only redefine the nation, but echo across the globe. From the moment the sun rises over the plains of India, one cannot help but notice the rhythm of life that unfolds across its towns and cities. Children hurrying to school, young graduates filing into bustling offices, students immersed in books within university libraries, and millions of bright eyes filled with the fire of ambition. This is the demographic dividend, a force so powerful and so unprecedented that it has become the very foundation of India's future. More than half of India's population is under the age of 30, and this ocean of youth is not just a statistic, it is a tide of possibility. It is a generation born into a world of connectivity, raised amid rapid technological change, and driven by dreams that extend far beyond the borders of their homeland. Where once youth was seen as a period of waiting, now it is seen as a period of building, of creating, and of transforming the very fabric of society. This youth bulge brings with it an energy that is palpable, a dynamism that reverberates across classrooms, startups, and innovation hubs. It is a living resource that no nation can manufacture or buy, and it is one of India's most formidable powers. Each young person represents a set of ideas, a wellspring of creativity, and a force of labor that can propel the nation forward into an age of growth and prosperity. Yet beyond the mere numbers lies a deeper truth. The ambition of these young citizens is coupled with a sense of resilience, an ability to adapt, and a hunger to carve out new opportunities, even in the face of obstacles. This is not a generation that looks only to survive. It is one that aspires to lead, to innovate, and to inspire. The demographic dividend manifests itself in myriad ways. On the streets of Bengaluru and Hyderabad, young engineers and developers are building cutting-edge software that powers global industries. In the rural heartlands, young farmers experiment with sustainable agricultural practices and combining tradition with technology. In the creative hubs of Mumbai and Delhi, storytellers, filmmakers, and artists reimagine narratives that reach audiences across the world. This immense youth population is not confined to one sector or one geography. It spreads across all spheres of life, infusing vitality into every corner of India's development. And within them lies the ability to harness education, technology, and opportunity to shape a destiny that is still being written. But perhaps the most striking aspect of this demographic advantage is the scale of potential innovation. Unlike past generations, today's Indian youth are digital natives. They are growing up in an ecosystem where knowledge is not limited to the 4 walls of a classroom, where ideas cross oceans in milliseconds, and where global challenges are met with global solutions. And to quote label solutions. From artificial intelligence to biotechnology, from renewable energy to financial technology, this youthful population is already beginning to shape industries of the future. They are unafraid to question, unafraid to disrupt, and unafraid to imagine what others deem impossible. In their pursuit of progress, they embody a spirit that is uniquely Indian, rooted in tradition yet relentlessly forward-looking. This youth dividend also creates a remarkable social energy, a collective momentum that is visible in grassroots movements, volunteerism, and a rising sense of civic duty. Young Indians are increasingly engaging in conversations about climate change, social justice, and governance, shaping public discourse in ways that previous generations could scarcely imagine. Their voices are amplified by technology, their concerns broadcast on platforms that connect them not only with fellow citizens, but with the world at large. In this way, the youth of India are not merely participants in the nation's future. They are its architects, drafting the blueprints for a society that aspires to be more inclusive, more innovative, and more resilient. Economically, the demographic dividend holds profound implications. A large youthful workforce means not only productivity, but also consumption, fueling markets and driving industries. Young workers entering the economy contribute not only their labor, but their aspirations for better living standards, better services, and better infrastructure. This dual role of producers and consumers creates a cycle of growth that strengthens the nation's economic foundation. India's capacity to become a global hub of innovation, manufacturing, and services rests upon this very demographic strength, a strength that few nations possess in such abundance. Yet, it is not merely about numbers or economic metrics. It is about the human spirit that thrives within this youthful population. Each student who learns a new skill, each entrepreneur who takes a risk, each innovator who pushes the boundaries of possibility contributes to a mosaic of progress that stretches from the smallest villages to the largest metropolises. Their collective journey is a story of ambition meeting opportunity, of challenges meeting resilience, and of a nation discovering its power through the vitality of its people. Across the length and breadth of India, a quiet yet profound transformation is unfolding, one that does not merely change industries, but redefines what a nation can achieve. It is the rise of technological supremacy, a force that is setting India on a trajectory toward global leadership in the digital and scientific realms. Once regarded as a hub of outsourced services, India is now emerging as a crucible of innovation, where artificial intelligence, space exploration, and digital infrastructure converge to create a future that is as boundless as imagination itself. This is not the story of machines alone. It is the story of human ingenuity, of young minds coding in dimly lit rooms, of scientists peering into the unknown, of entrepreneurs daring to shape industries that did not exist a decade ago. At the heart of this rise lies artificial intelligence, a frontier that promises to revolutionize how societies function. India, with its vast data resources and a thriving ecosystem of engineers and innovators, is positioning itself as a key player in this global race. Algorithms designed in India are already driving solutions in healthcare, agriculture, finance, and governance. Imagine farmers in remote villages receiving AI-driven insights on weather and soil health, doctors in busy city hospitals using machine learning to diagnose diseases with greater accuracy, or citizens accessing government services seamlessly through intelligent platforms. This fusion of intelligence and accessibility holds the power to not only elevate efficiency, but to democratize opportunity, ensuring that progress is not the privilege of a few but the right of many. Beyond artificial intelligence, India is reaching for the stars, quite literally. The Indian Space Research Organization has consistently demonstrated how ambition married to frugality can achieve remarkable feats. From launching satellites at a fraction of global costs to exploring the Moon and Mars, India has carved a place for itself among the great spacefaring nations. The success of missions like Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan did more than showcase technological brilliance. They ignited the imagination of millions, proving that even a developing nation can dream beyond the skies. With private players now entering the space sector, the horizon expands further, with possibilities ranging from commercial satellite launches to futuristic plans for interplanetary exploration. In this pursuit, space is not merely a destination. It is a canvas on which India paints its aspirations for leadership, innovation, and discovery. Complementing this is India's digital revolution, a transformation unparalleled in scale. The creation of the Aadhaar system, the rise of unified payments interface, and the rapid penetration of affordable internet have created one of the most inclusive digital infrastructures in the world. Villages once disconnected from the flow of global information are now nodes in a vast network, connected by smartphones and empowered by data. This digital lattice is not only reshaping commerce and communication, but also governance, enabling transparency, accountability, and efficiency in ways that were once inconceivable. In an era where power is measured not only in military might, but in digital reach, India stands on the brink of wielding a formidable influence. The culture of innovation driving this technological supremacy does not emerge in isolation. It is nurtured within startups that sprout in co-working spaces, within universities buzzing with experimentation, and within government initiatives designed to support research and development. India today boasts one of the world's largest startup ecosystems, with ventures spanning from fintech to biotechnology, from clean energy to robotics. Each success story, whether of a humble garage startup or a billion-dollar unicorn, contributes to the narrative of a nation determined to harness its intellectual capital and turn ideas into impact. This entrepreneurial vigor becomes the heartbeat of technological supremacy, ensuring that innovation is not episodic but continuous, not confined but widespread. Even in the realm of defense, technology is emerging as a critical pillar of strength. Indigenous missile systems, cyber defense programs, and advanced surveillance technologies highlight how India is weaving innovation into its security fabric. In a world where conflicts are no longer fought solely on land, sea, or air, but increasingly in cyberspace and through information, India's investment in indigenous technological capabilities ensures that its sovereignty remains guarded by the brilliance of its own people. This shift marks not only preparedness but also independence, a refusal to rely entirely on external powers for critical advancements. What makes this technological rise uniquely Indian is the balance it strikes between ambition and accessibility. Where some nations pursue innovation for dominance, India pursues it for inclusion, striving to solve challenges at scale, whether it is providing clean energy to remote villages, offering affordable healthcare through digital platforms, or ensuring that even the smallest businesses can participate in the global marketplace through technology. This philosophy of inclusive innovation transforms technological supremacy into more than a marker of power. It becomes a tool of empowerment, lifting millions out of poverty, bridging divides, and creating a society that thrives not in isolation but in collective progress. Amidst the hum of progress and the roar of urban expansion, there lies a quieter revolution taking shape across the subcontinent. It is the revolution of green energy, a transformation that speaks not only to the needs of a growing nation, but to the destiny of a planet in search of sustainability. India, blessed with abundant sunlight, vast landscapes, and a culture that has long revered nature, is positioning itself as a leader in renewable energy. This revolution is not merely about producing power. It is about redefining power itself, turning the forces of the natural world into allies in the journey toward prosperity. Where once coal and oil dictated the tempo of growth, today the sun, the wind, and the rivers are beginning to orchestrate a new symphony of energy, one that holds promise for generations to come. At the forefront of this movement stands solar energy, a resource India possesses in extraordinary abundance. Stretching across deserts, villages, and rooftops, solar panels glisten in the sunlight, capturing rays that have fallen freely for millennia and converting them into electricity that fuels modern life. Projects like the massive solar parks in Rajasthan and Gujarat showcase not only ambition but vision, a recognition that the energy of tomorrow will not be dug from beneath the ground but drawn from above. With innovations in affordability and storage, India is ensuring that solar energy is not a privilege for the wealthy, but a solution accessible to the many. In doing so, the nation transforms sunlight from a natural constant into a national asset. Wind energy too plays its role in this transformation, with turbines rising like sentinels along coastal stretches and hilltops. Their blades, spinning with the invisible force of the atmosphere, channel a resource as ancient as the earth itself into power that drives industries and illuminates homes. In Tamil Nadu and Gujarat, entire landscapes are dotted with these giants, their presence a reminder that the energy of the future is not confined to the narrow pathways of fossil fuels. They symbolize adaptability, showing how India can harness the gifts of its geography to meet the growing demands of its population without surrendering to the costs of environmental degradation. Hydropower, bioenergy, and emerging technologies add further dimensions to this green energy revolution. Rivers, long revered in Indian culture, are now being used not only for sustenance but for sustainable generation of electricity. Agricultural waste, once seen as residue, is being transformed into biofuel, contributing to cleaner transport and energy independence. Each of these strands weaves into a larger tapestry of innovation, resilience, and foresight. The result is not merely a collection of renewable projects, but a national momentum, a shift in mindset that acknowledges the urgency of climate change while embracing the opportunity to lead in the solutions. This revolution carries with it profound implications for India's global standing. In an age where energy security defines sovereignty, the ability to generate vast quantities of clean energy ensures not only independence from volatile fossil fuel markets, but also credibility on the world stage. India's commitment to ambitious renewable energy targets has already earned it recognition as a pivotal player in the fight against climate change. Its leadership in international collaborations like the International Solar Alliance reflects a vision that extends beyond borders, seeking to unite nations under the shared goal of harnessing the sun. In this, India does not stand merely as a participant but as a pioneer, guiding others toward a greener horizon. The economic implications are equally transformative. Renewable energy projects generate employment, stimulate local economies, and attract global investment. Young engineers, technicians, and entrepreneurs find in this revolution not just jobs, but purpose, as they contribute to a movement larger than themselves. Rural communities benefit directly, as decentralized solar grids bring electricity to villages once plunged into darkness, enabling education, healthcare, and livelihoods to flourish. This democratization of energy ensures that progress radiates outward, touching lives in ways that fossil fuel dependence could never achieve. There is also a cultural resonance to this movement. India has long regarded nature not as a resource to be exploited, but as a partner to be revered. The shift toward renewable energy resonates with this philosophy, restoring balance between development and the environment, and the environment. It is as though ancient wisdom inscribed in scriptures and traditions finds new expression in the modern language of technology and policy. In solar panels and wind farms, one can glimpse a continuity of values, where reverence for the earth is not abandoned but renewed, aligned with the imperatives of a modern nation. This green energy revolution is more than an environmental necessity. It is a statement of intent, a declaration that India's rise will not come at the expense of the planet, but in harmony with it. It represents the capacity of a nation to turn challenges into opportunities, to transform scarcity into abundance, and to lead not only with power, but with principle. In the sprawling markets of Delhi, the technology corridors of Bengaluru, and the ports of Mumbai, one can feel the pulse of an economy that has weathered storms and yet continues to march forward with remarkable resilience. This is the story of India's economic power, not built overnight, but forged through decades of perseverance, adaptation, and vision. In a world where financial landscapes are often shaken by uncertainty, India stands as a rising global marketplace, its economy steadily positioning itself among the giants of the 21st century. With its vast consumer base, expanding industries, and growing influence in global trade, India's economic strength is becoming one of its most defining powers, a force that will shape its destiny and influence the direction of the global economy. Central to this resilience is the diversity of India's economic foundations. Unlike nations that rely heavily on a single resource or sector, India thrives on multiplicity. Agriculture remains a backbone, feeding millions and sustaining livelihoods across rural heartlands. At the same time, services dominate the modern economic narrative, with information technology, financial services, and telecommunications placing India at the forefront of the global digital economy. Manufacturing, too, is gaining momentum under initiatives aimed at transforming the nation into a hub of production and innovation. This balance between tradition and modernity ensures that India's economic strength does not rest on fragile ground, but spreads across multiple pillars, each contributing to its stability and growth. The vast domestic market gives India a unique advantage. With a population exceeding 1 billion, the sheer scale of demand fuels growth in a way that few nations can replicate. From urban centers where middle-class aspirations drive consumption of housing, automobiles, and luxury goods, to rural communities where rising incomes expand the demand for consumer goods and services, the Indian market creates opportunities for businesses both domestic and international. This internal demand acts as a shield against global volatility, ensuring that India's economy retains momentum even when international markets falter. In this, India not only sustains itself but becomes a magnet for global investors eager to tap into one of the world's fastest-growing consumer bases. Trade and globalization further amplify this story. India is no longer merely an exporter of raw goods or low-cost labor. It is becoming a hub of innovation, ideas, and value-added products. From pharmaceuticals that serve millions across the globe to cutting-edge software solutions that underpin global enterprises, India's exports carry with them the imprint of quality and ingenuity. The nation's role in global supply chains is expanding, driven by competitiveness, innovation, and the strategic shift of industry seeking alternatives to traditional manufacturing hubs. This integration into the global economy strengthens India's standing, giving it not only financial weight but also geopolitical influence. At the heart of this resilience lies an entrepreneurial spirit that infuses vitality into every corner of the economy. Startups led by young innovators are redefining sectors such as fintech, edtech, and e-commerce, creating new markets and reshaping old ones. Unicorns emerge with increasing frequency, signaling not only ambition but also the capacity to execute ideas at scale. These ventures attract international capital while simultaneously creating local jobs and opportunities, proving that India's economic story is not merely about survival, but about reinvention and leadership. This dynamic energy ensures that the economy is not static but constantly evolving, ready to adapt to shifting trends and global challenges. The government's role in shaping this trajectory is also significant. Policies aimed at liberalization, infrastructure development, and digital transformation are creating an environment conducive to growth. Investments in transportation networks, energy grids, and digital platforms build the scaffolding upon which economic progress can rise. Initiatives such as a Make in India and a Digital India reflect a vision of self-reliance combined with global integration, a recognition that the path to economic resilience lies in blending domestic strength with international collaboration. This combination of policy and enterprise strengthens the foundations of an economy that is not only large but increasingly agile. Global recognition of India's economic potential has grown significantly in recent years. International institutions project India to be one of the fastest-growing major economies, while multinational corporations see it as a critical market for expansion. Trade partnerships, foreign direct investment, and cross-border collaborations reflect this confidence, positioning India as a central node in the global economic network. Each investment, each partnership, adds to the momentum of an economy that is both resilient and ambitious, constantly pushing the boundaries of what it can achieve. Perhaps most compelling is the way India's economic strength intertwines with its social progress. As growth lifts millions out of poverty, access to education, healthcare, and opportunities expands, creating a cycle of empowerment that feeds back into the economy. The rise of the middle class not only reshapes consumer patterns, but also redefines aspirations, setting in motion a virtuous cycle of growth and progress. It is in this interplay between economy and society that the true resilience of India's economic power is revealed. For it is not just about numbers and statistics, but about lives transformed and futures secured. In the Chronicles of Nations, few elements define sovereignty as powerfully as the strength of their military. For India, a civilization with millennia of history behind it, defense has never been a mere instrument of force. It has been a shield of survival, a deterrent of aggression, and now a projection of strategic influence. And so, in the modern era, as geopolitical rivalries intensify and the nature of conflict evolves, India's commitment to military modernization emerges as one of its defining future powers. It is a journey of transformation where tradition meets technology, where valor is augmented by innovation, and where the guardians of the nation are equipped not only for the battles of today, but for the challenges of tomorrow. Across the sprawling landscapes of the Indian subcontinent, the armed forces stand as a living embodiment of discipline, courage, and sacrifice. Yet, beyond this legacy lies the urgent necessity of modernization. The battlefield of the 21st century is no longer confined to land, sea, and air alone. It extends into cyberspace, outer space, and the intangible realm of information. To meet these challenges, India is investing in advanced weaponry, indigenous defense manufacturing, cyber capabilities, and space-based technologies. This modernization is not merely about acquiring equipment. It is about reshaping doctrine, enhancing preparedness, and ensuring that every soldier, sailor, and airman operates with the finest tools available. Indigenous development plays a central role in this evolution. Projects such as the Tejas light combat aircraft, the Arjun battle tank, and the development of advanced missile systems under the Defense Research and Development Organization reflect India's determination to reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. This self-reliance strengthens strategic autonomy, ensuring that India's defense is not at the mercy of shifting international alliances. At the same time, collaborations with global partners bring in cutting-edge technologies, creating a balance between homegrown innovation and international cooperation. In this dual approach lies the wisdom of building a defense capability that is both independent and interconnected with the global defense ecosystem. The modernization of the Indian Navy is particularly significant, given the nation's vast coastline and strategic position in the Indian Ocean. Aircraft carriers, nuclear-powered submarines, and advanced destroyers extend India's reach across critical sea lanes, securing not only its own interests, but also contributing to global maritime stability. The Indian Ocean, once seen as a backdrop of trade, is now a theater of strategic competition, and India's naval strength ensures that it remains a formidable presence in these waters. The Air Force, too, has embraced modernization, integrating next-generation fighters, drones, and surveillance systems, while the Army continues to enhance mobility, firepower, and technological integration to defend borders that remain under constant scrutiny. But modern warfare is not limited to conventional domains. The rise of cyber warfare and information manipulation poses challenges that cannot be countered with traditional weapons. Recognizing this, India has begun investing heavily in cyber defense infrastructure, artificial intelligence-driven systems, and space-based surveillance. Satellites launched into orbit do not merely capture images. They provide real-time intelligence, navigation, and communication, forming the invisible yet crucial backbone of modern military operations. This expansion into new domains signifies India's awareness that the future of defense lies in a fusion of technology and strategy, where battles are fought not only with weapons, but with information, resilience, and foresight. Equally vital is the human dimension of this modernization. India's military strength rests not only on hardware but on the men and women who serve with unwavering commitment. Training, professionalism, and adaptability remain at the core of India's defense ethos. With modernization, these individuals are empowered to serve more effectively, their courage amplified by technology that enhances precision, safety, and effectiveness. The integration of modern systems into their hands transforms not only the military's capability, but also its confidence in confronting any threat that may arise. The economic and industrial implications of military modernization are profound. Defense manufacturing creates jobs, drives technological innovation, and stimulates sectors far beyond the military itself. Startups and private industries are now playing an increasingly important role in developing advanced systems, from drones to cyber tools, bridging the gap between defense needs and entrepreneurial energy. This synergy between the defense sector and industry ensures that modernization becomes a catalyst for national progress, creating a ripple effect that extends into civilian applications of technology as well. On the global stage, a modernized Indian military serves as both a deterrent and a stabilizer. It sends a clear message that India, while committed to peace, is prepared to defend its sovereignty with strength and resolve. This readiness enhances India's voice in international forums, making its diplomacy more credible and its partnerships more respected. Allies view India not merely as a regional player, but as a rising global power whose military capability underpins its aspirations and responsibilities. In an era where security challenges are interconnected, India's ability to project stability becomes a valuable asset to the world at large. From the crowded lanes of Varanasi to the grand stages of international film festivals, from the rhythm of classical ragas to the global reach of Bollywood blockbusters, India's cultural essence reverberates far beyond its borders. This is the power of culture, not bound by armies or economies, but carried through stories, traditions, and the universal language of art. In an age where influence is increasingly defined not just by material strength, but by the ability to shape hearts and minds, India's cultural soft power emerges as one of its most compelling forces for the future. It is the quiet strength of heritage, the subtle persuasion of ideas, and the magnetic allure of creativity that makes the nation resonate across continents. At its heart lies a civilization stretching back thousands of years, a legacy of philosophy, spirituality, and knowledge that continues to inspire. Ancient texts such as the Vedas and Upanishads, timeless epics like the Mahabharata and Ramayana, and the enduring principles of yoga and meditation offer not just history, but a living philosophy that people around the world embrace. Yoga studios flourish in New York, London, and Tokyo. Ayurveda treatments find followers across Europe, and meditation practices enrich lives from Silicon Valley to Sydney. These traditions are not relics of the past. They are bridges that connect humanity, offering answers to modern stresses and aspirations. In this way, India's wisdom flows outward, shaping lifestyles and values in societies far removed from its geographical boundaries. Cinema perhaps stands as one of the most visible expressions of India's cultural reach. Bollywood, with its colorful storytelling, music, and emotion, has long captivated audiences beyond South Asia, creating fans in Africa, the Middle East, and even Latin America. The growing recognition of Indian filmmakers in global cinema, along with the rise of regional film industries, demonstrates how diverse and adaptable this art form has become. These films not only entertain but also carry with them a slice of India's society, its struggles, and its dreams, making culture an ambassador where diplomats cannot always reach. Music and dance, too, carry the cultural torch into the future. From the intricate footwork of Kathak and Bharatanatyam to the soulful melodies of sitar and tabla, India's performing arts continue to enthrall audiences worldwide. At the same time, fusion genres blend classical roots with contemporary rhythms, appealing to younger generations and international listeners alike. Indian artists collaborate with global icons, and festivals showcasing Indian music and dance attract audiences across Europe, America, and Asia. Through these performances, culture transcends language, creating bonds through rhythm, movement, and expression. Literature has long been a vessel of India's voice to the world. Writers such as Rabindranath Tagore, R.K. Narayan, Arundhati Roy, and Salman Rushdie have carved niches in global literary landscapes, while contemporary authors continue to win international recognition. Their works explore themes of identity, tradition, modernity, and diaspora, offering perspectives that enrich global conversations. In every translated novel, every awarded essay, India's cultural narrative grows stronger, weaving its stories into the fabric of world literature. The digital age has magnified this cultural influence. Streaming platforms bring Indian films, music, and series into homes across the globe. Social media amplifies voices from rural poets to global celebrities, and online communities share recipes, fashion, and art that stem from Indian traditions. Diaspora communities act as cultural bridges, ensuring that festivals such as Diwali and Holi are celebrated in cities from Toronto to Johannesburg, lighting up skylines with Indian color and spirit. In this global connectivity, India's culture travels faster and further than ever before, ensuring that its influence is both deep and widespread. Cultural soft power also finds expression in cuisine, where flavors and spices narrate the story of a land as diverse as its people. Indian restaurants flourish in every major city across the globe, introducing palates to curries, biryanis, dosas, and countless regional specialties. Food becomes a storyteller, carrying history and tradition on every plate, building connections through shared tastes and culinary experiences. The aroma of Indian spices, the richness of its sweets, and the vibrancy of its street food carry with them an invitation into the culture, an invitation that millions gladly accept. Underlying all these expressions is the philosophy of inclusivity and diversity. India's culture does not present a singular identity. It thrives in multiplicity. Languages, religions, customs, and traditions coexist, often blending and enriching each other. This plurality itself becomes a form of soft power, presenting India as a society capable of harmony amidst diversity, a message that resonates in a world often fractured by differences. By embodying coexistence and tolerance, India's cultural narrative offers both inspiration and guidance to a global community seeking unity. This cultural power is not about dominance, but about resonance. It persuades not through compulsion, but through attraction, not through force, but through fascination. In every yoga class attended abroad, in every Bollywood song hummed in a distant land, in every festival celebrated beyond its borders, India asserts its presence in ways that are gentle yet profound. Through culture, the nation influences without confrontation, creating a legacy of connection that endures across borders and generations. On the shifting chessboard of global politics, nations rise not only through the strength of their armies or the size of their economies, but through the art of diplomacy, the ability to build bridges, forge alliances, and wield influence without drawing a sword. India, situated at the heart of Asia, yet with ties that span continents, is steadily cultivating geopolitical leverage that will define its future. This is the power of position, of principle, and of persuasion exercised in boardrooms and summits, in quiet negotiations and bold declarations. It is a power that elevates India not just as a participant in global affairs, but as a shaper of them. A voice that cannot be ignored in the conversations that determine the destiny of nations. India's geography is its first gift in this domain. Cradled between the vast Indian Ocean and the mighty Himalayas, it commands strategic sea lanes that carry much of the world's trade, while sharing borders with some of the most dynamic and contested regions of the world. Its position places it at the crossroads of East and West, North and South, allowing it to act as a bridge between cultures, markets, and ideologies. This geography is not merely a backdrop. It is a source of influence, giving India a say in matters of maritime security, regional stability, and global trade. But geography alone does not create power. It is vision that transforms location into leverage. India's foreign policy has increasingly reflected this awareness.